Hello, LinkedIn, YouTube, and I believe we also stream on Facebook. My name is Frank Lavinia, and I am a principal technology solutions architect here at ElectrifAi. And if you want to learn more about the company, you can definitely check us out on Twitter at ElectrifAi, or just go to electrify.net. Today, I want to talk about natural language processing. Natural language processing is a key innovation in the machine learning and artificial intelligence space, to the point where it is very critical, and it's become, well, honestly, it's become a field in its own right. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them live in the chat. One of the things I did earlier today on my own personal stream was, let me put myself in the corner. There we go. And there's a mental note. Let me see if I can change the background so we don't lose. There we go. Oh, perfect. Here we go. All right, that's good enough. One of the products we have is called ElectrifAi, and what this does, because a lot of people ask me, like, what's the practical upshoot here? What's the practical upshoot for natural language processing, right? Obviously, you can take tweets and you can rate their sentiment in real time. Were they negative? Or are they sentiment negative, positive? But here's something I think every business can use. Every business has to deal with contracts. And ElectrifAi is basically, let's see if I can make that wider. ElectrifAi lets you go through and get a handle on your contracts, right? And this is particularly, I think transformative for small to medium-sized businesses. I think that there's definitely a need here. I mean, just think about how many times you go through. Just think about how many times, you go through an end user license agreement, right? And what do? You just click OK, right? Wouldn't it be nice if there was some kind of way to summarize the terms and conditions you are applying to? This is kind of the same thing. So what happens is that you give us a sample of contracts, and we'll go through and we'll use our existing models that are trained on the cutting edge natural language processing and determine the key phrases and key conditions of the contract. So basically, this is a way that it won't replace lawyers, it won't replace paralegals. But if you're a small company and you can only afford one or two people to kind of look over contracts, you can go through most of your contracts and uncover what you're actually agreeing to, whether those are payment terms, whether those are various contractual languages and agreements. You can go through and highlight them, so you can then bring that to your counsel, right? To your lawyer. So instead of having your lawyer go through tens of thousands of documents, which I'm sure is not cheap, you can just go through all your contracts and just highlight the ones that are causing you kind of trouble. And I don't see this as a means to replace this. But basically, kind of like all the stuff that we've done here, here's the things that you can do. You can find out, you can integrate with our ElectrifAi product, and we've already done a show on that. Analyze risk, compare documents side by side, find out when contract terms are coming to an end. In fact, we actually have a case study here on how we helped a chemical manufacturer better understand what their procurement contracts were, right? Which is probably why this comes up a lot in conjunction with ElectrifAi. ElectrifAi is another tool we have that helps organizations basically streamline their spending and get a handle on where their accounts payables are going. But the key thing here, and this is a great example of applied artificial intelligence, you're not just looking at computer vision for the sake of computer vision. You're using computer vision to load up a document and using NLP, natural language processing, to go through and parse out those documents. Contracts are not new, but what is new is using AI to process and parse your contracts to maybe highlight contracts that maybe have some problems or some concerns, and then rather than bring in an army of lawyers, you can have one or two paralegals and a lawyer do the work of an entire legal department. This is incredibly transformative for smaller organizations, as well as larger organizations. In fact, there was a case study done and an internal, not using, it was Microsoft, it was using Microsoft tech, how implementing a chatbot for the legal department saved X number of hours over the course of 3 months of what would be a paralegal. And basically figured out the cost savings there. The fact that project happened, I can talk about. The exact numbers, I can't talk about. But I mean, that's the same thing. And this is really the key. And this is where the value that ElectrifAi provides. We provide the value of these pre-trained models. So you don't need to hire full-time staff to build out these rich models. You can use us. And what makes us different than, say, going to, Microsoft's cognitive services, where they'll go through and they'll do the sentiment and then term phrase extraction. There's even cutting edge research in terms of machine reading comprehension. The advantage of using ElectrifAi is that we train our models on your contracts. So you give us a number of contracts, we'll train it, and then you deploy it. And then we're with you every step of the way to help make sure that the model is deployed properly, make sure that there's no drift, that if any problems you have, we go back and we make sure we train the model on how it actually performs in the field. So it iteratively gets better and it gets smarter on your contracts, the contracts that you deal with. So I think that's really kind of the thing that excites me about ElectrifAi is, this isn't just AI for the sake of AI, although that is fun. This is practical and applied AI. Someone should come up with a show. Oh, wait, we already did. But I mean, there's so much excitement in the natural language processing field. So let me kind of back up and say, what does it mean? What does this do for me? Well, if you have a phone, an iPhone or an Android or an Alexa device at home, you are using natural language processing, because when you tell Alexa, turn on the shop light. Oh, it's already on. Alexa, turn off the shop light.
Sorry, I didn't find a device you were stopping.
No, Alexa, turn shop light off. There you go. I don't know if you can see that, but the light that I have illuminating the back of my desk is called shop light. I can turn on or off just with that voice. But if I changed up how I said it, Alexa, would you please turn that shop light on? So as you see, it turned on. And the true magic here isn't that it knows, particular commands. The true magic of NLP, whether it's this system or any other system, is that it knows the intent and the purpose behind what I'm saying, even if the words are a little different. That is basically something that if you were to do with conventional algorithms and conventional code would be extremely difficult. It's the same thing here. You can analyze the text in a contract with conventional approaches, but it was really took AI or natural language processing, the ability to not just lexically parse the document to figure out what's the verb, subject, object type problem, although that is part of NLP. But by applying artificial intelligence to it, you get a much richer understanding of what's actually happening, just like when a human reads a particular document. So there's a lot of interesting stuff in this space. I had the good fortune of attending a research conference in late 2019. And let me tell you, the interest around the sessions dealing with natural language processing, they were standing room only. This is back when, before social distancing, I would imagine now if this event were to be held in person, there probably wouldn't be enough room in the rooms to even attend the particular session. The sessions around computer vision, I mean, they were normal, but I mean, here's why I think that is that every company, every organization, everybody deals with text. It's how we communicate with each other, whether it's verbal or transcribed into text. That's how humans communicate with other humans. You'll see that appears obviously in legal contracts. It appears in text messaging, social media. All of this is text based. And there's an enormous amount of information contained in text, not just the words that are used, but the sentiment, the structure of the document, the semantic richness that you get in any document. Well, what's the headline? What's this? And you see this with contracts. You see this with legal briefs. Each one of those is a particular format. Even scripts, movie scripts, are written in a particular way with particular formatting. And that formatting tells a story in and of itself. So if you get a generic natural language processing engine, I mean, that'll work. But if you get something that understands the actual structure and semantic richness that structure conveys, well, then, I mean, the sky's the limit in terms of what that can do. It can be almost human or even superhuman, right? All right. So with that, if there are no questions, let me check the feed and see if there are questions. There are no questions at this time. Fantastic. So we at ElectrifAi are making this a regular thing. My former host of the former colleague and host of the show previously, Noel, has passed the mantle on to me, Frank Lavinia. So we're going to do this. We're going to do maybe be a little more structured next time. Do a demo of ElectrifAi or other products. Again, company is ElectrifAi. We have many pre-configured machine learning models, and our key value here is rapid time to value. Go check us out at electrifai.net, and you have a fantastic day. Before I go, I want to check if there's any questions in the chat. There are not. So thanks for watching, and be sure to leave a comment on anything else you'd like me to cover in this show. Perhaps if you'd like to be a guest on the show, let me know. You